This week's episode of Dragon Ball Super was interesting, to need I say, but there was still some stuff that I'm trying to figure out. But out of a lot of people, I still believe that Black Goku and Zamasu are similar and that they are connected in a way. I know there's a lot of people who now don't believe that anymore, but I still do. Anyway, let's get to this review. So, by the way, why I didn't upload this week is because I just didn't have anything to upload. And I'm going to tell you guys when I'm going to start uploading at the end of this episode. But I don't know what I'm going to upload that's going to be related to, like, Dragon Ball Super. I might do, like, it's just going to be Dragon Ball content in general, if that makes sense. So I don't really know yet. Let me think about this while I'm making the video, because I can do two things at once. It's not that hard. But I think I know what I'm going to do anyway. But yeah, that's why I didn't upload, and I wasn't able to watch the Dragon Ball Super episode yesterday, so that did suck. That's why I got the review today, because I watched it today. And yeah, anyway, I hope you guys are going to enjoy this review. Let's get started. So, we start off with Trunks having mental training. He's visualizing Black Goku versus him. Yet again, in this visualization, he loses. Now, he has the tendency to believe that he's going to continuously lose the battle with Black Goku every single time, and I'm starting to doubt that will happen. My prediction is going to be he might be the one who's actually going to beat Black Goku in the end, because he's the one who's struggling the most to handle the fact that he lost so many people in his timeline. He can't even handle it. I mean, he keeps thinking about him losing to Black Goku, and I mean, that's why it leads me to believe that he's probably going to be the one to beat Black Goku. Now, we know that Whis and Beerus are probably not going to be included into this fight, since they pretty much ditched them once they arrived on the island, on Earth, which was after, a little bit after Trunks training. He was still training on a little pond or lake, whatever it was. I think it was a pond. And yeah, he was training on that. And they arrived in the most ridiculous way possible. It was actually really funny. But yeah, they arrived. They tried to explain to Trunks that it's probably not connected and that they can't really be connected. They don't have that much of a connection. They couldn't really find anything other than that simple, basic, little detail, which is like a tiny connection with their ki. And Trunks is like, but their ki, he still believes, like, he's still like trying to figure it out, and they're just like, there's no connection. We can't really find anything else for now, at least. And yeah, that's pretty much how that ends out, that little conversation. And we see Zamasu and Gowasu looking at a little orb, and looking at another planet, which was Bulgaria or Barbaria. I don't really remember what it's called. I think they're called Barbarians, and I think the place is called Barbaria. But you kind of get it. I think they're trying to base it off like barbarians, which the only reason I know what barbarians are is because Clash of Clans. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, they fight all the freaking time, and they look like weird buff things, just like these ones, except these were more moral monsters. And yeah, so we see them fighting, and he's disgusted. He's disgusted. He doesn't believe mortals should be alive. He believes he should exterminate the entire race. That's what he's saying, because they're too violent to each other, too brutal to each other. That's what Gowasu says. So he's like, well, why don't we clean them up? And he basically, and then he said, to exterminate. And they were like, that's the God of Destruction's job, not our job. We're not the ones who's supposed to do that. And he's like, over a couple of years, they're gonna be calm. And he's like, what? They're gonna be calm? Over a couple of years, you actually believe that? And then he goes, and we see the time ring. And, it's the same time rings that we saw that they showed Beerus, because they went to check on it last episode. And we see the time rings, the silver one that Black Goku wore. And we're still kind of finding that as a connection, but we're not going to get to that this episode. But anyway, yeah, and he talks about the time rings and how we can go and see the future. And then they go to see these barbarians. And they go to see these barbarians, and we see, they're fighting. And he's just disgusted, like I said. He's just disgusted. And then he's like, okay, well, we're going to go to the future 1,000 years from now and see how they are in the future. And he's like, oh, well, okay. And, you know, he's like, oh, well, only I would be the one to go because only a Kaioshin can go. That, you know, he has to be a Kaioshin to be able to do that. So he temporarily makes Zamasu a Kaioshin. He only does it for a little, like, you know, it's only temporary, like I said. And we see the green ones, and he kind of explains why they're green, why they're different colored, because Zamasu asks, why can't we go into the past? And he's like, oh, well, that's not possible, and even if it is, it's not allowed, you know? It could be you can be harshly punished for doing so. And he's like, you know why the other ones are colored? And now we figure out a little bit more details on the time ring, which was, the reason why they were green is because basically somebody changed time. They went to the past and they changed time, or made it, and made a new world, basically. Made a new planet, I mean. Yeah, world. And that caused a complete mess. That pretty much destroyed everything. That messed with time. That's why you don't want to mess with time. And that made a new planet and all that stuff. And he's explaining why you can't do that. And, you know, who would do such a thing. And, yeah, he gives them the earring of the Kaioshin, and they go into the future, and they still see, you know, they're fighting, but they're at the same time having a little bit more of a culture, as Gowasu says, and they're having more, you know, of a home, and feeling more, you know, making more a family and stuff like that. And, yeah, we see all that. And he's still disgusted. Zamasu still doesn't believe that mortals should be alive. And that's all we see of him. And then we go back to Earth, and we see, you know, Vegeta's like, oh, I'm gonna train, or he's, you know, he basically, they spar with each other, and, you know, Goku brings Vegeta, but they spar with each other. He goes Super Saiyan. We see a little flashback of back when Vegeta showed Trunks Super Vegeta, when he transcended past a Super Saiyan, and we see them fight. But, you know, then he goes Super Saiyan Trunks, and he's like, you don't need to hold back anymore. But he's like, you can go Super Saiyan 3, and he's like, no, I don't need to go Super Saiyan 3. Bang, he goes Super Saiyan 3. I mean, he goes, got the words mixed up. He went Super Saiyan God Blue. He went Super Saiyan Blue up on here. And we see freaking Trunks getting demolished by Vegeta, of course. We all expected this. He's too strong. He's far too strong. And he's like, well, in this case, Vegeta and Goku can just beat Black Goku. I don't even need to do anything. I don't need anything to do. But, you know, realizing kind of what his facial expressions were, him smiling and everything, Vegeta's like, no, you're a Saiyan. And if you're my son, you wouldn't give up, and all that stuff. And, you know, the good old Vegeta pride. Am I right? The good old Saiyan pride that he has. And, you know, Vegeta's just looking at him like, while he's on the ground. And then he freaking headbutts this guy. He headbutts Vegeta. Trunks headbutts him. And he's like, I passed, right? I hit him. I hit you, and yeah, and I believe that he's gonna actually be able to go Super Saiyan God Blue. I think he's gonna go Super Saiyan Blue and beat Black Goku himself. That's what I believe. But, you know, this can all be changed, but that's what I think for now, at least. And yeah, he's just beating him. Then he bows down. He's telling him all that stuff, like, you know, if you're my son, you wouldn't give up, and you have to get stronger. I'm sorry, everyone. I got, something happened, so I had to restart the recording from here. So, yeah, where was I? I was at Vegeta. Yeah, okay, so then Trunks is like, you know, I'm gonna surpass you. I'm gonna be stronger than you and Black Goku and all that stuff. And he starts to have pride. He starts believing. And, then we don't have anything else to see for that. But we see Beerus and Whis back on his, at his home, and he gets a call from the king of all, the Omni King, Zeno. It's good to see him again. And, you know, Beerus, being who he is, so supremely scared of Zeno. It was funny because he just pretty much hit his head and broke the table, like a piece of it. He tripped it off with his head. He's like bowing down. He's like, oh, it's nice to see you. And, you know, Whis appears, and he's like, oh, it's nice to see you again. Hey, this was unexpected. And he was like, yeah, the reason why I called is I want to meet Goku again. He wants to see Goku again. And they, you know, they go crazy. And I'm like, oh, he wants to see Goku. I really want to know for what reason. But you know, Goku wasn't really scared of him. And they kind of got along when they first met. they were like, oh yeah, having a conversation about the tournament that's gonna come between the universes and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all we see. Then we see, what's gonna happen in the next episode. We see the Omni King talking to Goku and all that. He meets him, and then Goku's like, oh, he wants to meet me, and all that stuff. So anyway, guys, that is all for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy this review. What do you guys think about the next episode 55? What do you think is gonna happen? I heard there was a spoiler for the name. I don't know what it was, so I have to look that up. But what do you guys think is gonna happen? Anyway, comment down below what your predictions are for the next episode and how you like this. What would you say? Any ideas you have about if Zamasu is Black Goku, and why would the King of All want to see Goku? Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this review. Stay tuned for the next video. See you guys later.